All right, Bob, let's talk about shock technology. Give us an idea of what goes into these shocks and what makes them work.
Okay, sure, Dave. What we have is a board that's kind of outlining and highlighting some of the technology that goes into all the products that we offer here at Afco. One of the things the industry is familiar with is deflective disc technology. That simply means we have valves made out of metal material that as you stack them up in different thicknesses, you can create different resistances. As we look at the chart across the table, we have linear valving, we have digressive valving, we have progressive valving, and variations in and thereof. We have a lot of great base projects, base packages for cars in our Silver Series and all the products we'll talk about today that encompass this technology for the different types of racing application that teams are working with. As you get a little bit closer to the features here on the table, in example one, we have a main piston. It's a high flow piston that offers a linear shape style curve. And if we want to increase the resistance from mid to high speed, we have a way to simply add a device that restricts the flow. So we can, it's called a port restrictor, so we can change some of the dynamic technology in the shock without changing the valve stack and still have good compliance at low speed for tires, but have good control for the chassis if it's going over bumps and undulations. As we move over into the digressive phase, we have different types of piston adapting kits for digressive pistons, to make a digressive curve, I mean. And simply what we do is we use the main piston and we're able to stack this spacer on top of the shock piston. Now what we're doing is, instead of just having a flat dish with valves sitting on top, we're now preloading the valves. Much like ring shim technology offers a lot of teams in different brands of shocks, we have ring shims and we have digressive spacers. So we have unique ways to take and build codes that can pull 1-inch and 2-inch numbers into control for the left rear tires of like an open wheel car. When we're working big bar soft spring on the pavement cars, we want a lot of 1-inch number to hold the front end down, keep the car turning. We have the technology that teams can make that slight change to control with the different pieces that we offer here. The other piece that's pretty unique to our system that offers the team some benefits is the poppet valve piston. The poppet valve piston, for those that work with shocks, know that putting bleed on one side of the shock or another. So if I wanted to time a shock where it went down real easy and came out slow, trying in a non-adjustable shock, trying to get that curve is kind of hard, because as you add bleed, either through poking a hole in a piston or adding a bleed shim, you change the shock on both sides in control. The poppet piston allows us, with a poppet with the hole drilled through the center of it, we can manipulate that hole for different flow characteristics. We're simply able to put that into the piston, and we can have a lot of flow on one side with very regulated flow on the other. So that's another bit of technology that we added into all of the shocks. Another new feature for 2011 is our base valve technology. We've gone to a linear piston. What that simply means, from our digressive curve style piston, if we've run into some bumps and some hard braking, a lot of times the car will compress too fast and upset the chassis, so we've designed a linear base valve so you can have mid to high speed control and still have good tire compliance at low speed.
A lot to learn about shock technology. Now let's go and talk about, go ahead.
One of the things that we can also add for the viewer out here today is that Afco offers shock school for all entry-level racers, beginners. Shock technology is evolving, and what we talk about a lot in the shock school is how to go from a base shock to selecting my next shock and understanding what technology can do. We're not proponents that everybody's got to be a shock rebuilder, but if you're out there and you're a shock rebuilder, we have tools for you to advance your program. And we also want to have educate the folks out there so they know when they're making changes in their car, how it's affecting the car and how they're getting the results they're looking for on track.
Well, let's talk about some of the other applications you have.
Okay.